Hi everybody, I'm Candy Gomez here at the Illinois Media School in Lombard. I am one of the newest people to join the staff here. I am a student advisor, which is really cool because what I do here is I bring all my expertise, my years from B96 Radio, WGN, Chicago Sky, currently KISS FM. I bring all that here and I talk to the kids, students of all ages, of all backgrounds, and let them know what radio is like, and just working in the media too. I got brought onto the team here as a student advisor, which is good because I like to talk. And I went to college. I went to a 4-year college. It was great, but I really had a higher respect for people who were already in the industry teaching me because you could learn so much from them. That's how I feel it is. And these students here, they're just so passionate, and everyone is so supportive of each other. And working in the media, it's not always like that. So here is just a great resource of staff, student, teachers, everything here that you need. So you may come in thinking you want to go into radio or you want to go into TV, and the next thing you know, you love editing, or you want to go into being a sportscaster. We've got so many different programs here, and I think it's very beneficial too because we don't just make you choose one. Maybe you want to do TV, maybe later on you learn, hey, radio's a better fit for you. And that's exactly how the real world is too. Sometimes you've got a plan and something takes you on a turn and you could end up somewhere completely different. So here you have tons of resources to find out exactly who you are. And I kind of help you develop your creative side, your content for your shows, so forth. And I'm always here just to talk as well. Currently, I'm at KISS FM weekends and fill-in shifts. Before this, I covered every shift possible at B96. I was there for over 12 years. I started at WGN Television. I was interning there for a while. I was there for over 2 years. I was at Chicago Sky. I was the announcer, the MC of all the games. Those girls are awesome. And who knows where I'll be next? You never know where this career can take you. I'm Candy Gomez from KISS FM, and I am IMS.
Great show. A lot of football to talk about.
Yes, we have some great guests today. As he just said, we have Matt Pike, a former quarterback at Purdue, the quarterback for Chicago Slaughter, and right now he's the quarterback coach for the Chicago Bliss. So talk a lot of LFL action. We also have C.J. Young, the running back, or one of the great running backs for the Chicago Chaos.
And he's the player of the week this week.
And he earned it. So guys, a lot of stuff coming up. Should be a great show. We'll be back in 30 seconds on I Want Football 365, covering pro football around the world. Coming pro football around the world, and with us, as promised, is quarterback coach Matthew Pike. How are you doing today, Matt?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, thanks for coming on. We have a lot to talk about. Let's jump into how the Bliss are doing this year. It's a big, broad question because the Bliss have been dominant for a couple of years, and they're not slowing down.
No, you know, we have a very good core of vets on the team, which always helps. thing about since I've been here, we've had 3 different quarterbacks. So it's a little bit different, you know. Go from Heather Furrs, more of a running quarterback. Last year we had Jacinda, who was just a phenomenal athlete, could sling the heck out of it. And then Jane, she's a multitasker too as well. But we want to make Jane more of a thrower, but she can definitely like tote the pill. So we let her do what she's got to do sometimes. So they're all different. And but I mean, like I said, we're just. I mean, I hate to, you know, tip the hat, but we're the top of the league. I'm not gonna lie, you know.
We're gonna agree with them.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, you seem to be the quarterback whisperer. No matter who they put in front of you, you seem to be able to show them how to win with whatever talent that they have.
Yeah, you know, and think about Heather. I mean, she already had a championship. So actually 2, I think, before I got here, and then we went to the championship and we lost that game.
Yep.
So, and then last year we went back. So, you know, 4 in a row being at least there, you know, pretty big deal. And, you know, Heather, I mean, she was just a leader, runner, player, and she played defense as well. So, but, I mean, Jacinda, I mean, you talk about a workaholic. Like,
Really?
She was awesome. Her and I mean, we were usually together 2 to 3 times a week besides practice.
Okay.
So, and she's a former baseball. She played baseball for the Australian national team.
Wow.
Pitcher,
Dual athlete.
Pitcher, but she threw sidearm. She threw a sidearm, nasty curve, little slider type of thing. So obviously, mechanically wise, I had to work with her.
Okay.
But you talk about having the rest of the game, you know, leader, you know, determined competitor. She already had that.
Yeah, to be a pitcher, you need to be built a little differently than most people.
Yeah.
It's just you on that mound.
Yeah. I mean, you know, all our girls work out. They're all in shape. Yada yada yada. But and Jane, she's a workout fiend. She goes to EFT here in Chicago, where a lot of the NFL guys go, college kids. I mean, she's there 3 times a week, and then she lives with me. So obviously
A lot of coaching time.
We're in a lab for sure, you know. So she's phenomenal too. Had kind of a rough start. The second game, I mean, she was 4 for 16, but she threw three touchdowns. So it's like, how do you judge that? You know what I'm saying? But obviously, I wanted her completion percentage to be a little bit higher.
25% is not the ideal for most quarterbacks.
Yeah, but 3 touchdowns is nice.
That is the ideal for a lot of quarterbacks.
You know, it's like, what do you do? But
And the end result has to be a win, which it was.
Right. I mean, bottom line, that's what we want to do. But her thing is, like, she's learning. She's never been coached.
Okay.
You know, as far as fundamentals and footwork and stuff, she's pretty good. It's the other side of the game. You know, playing quarterback is a little bit more intricate than just
Reading the defense. all
Sure.
that kind of
handing the
stuff.
ball off and throwing the ball. It's, you know, she's never been taught that way.
You're a coach on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, she's never been taught how to read defenses. That's her big thing. You know, she doesn't know. She knew what cover 2 is, obviously. But, hey, going here, I should dump it here. That, you know, that type of stuff.
Yeah, the cornerback's cheating in a little bit. You can tell those things.
Right, the pre-snap read and all that kind of stuff. She's never been really coached. Now, is she catching on like gangbusters? Absolutely, because, well, you know, our game will be on TV this weekend. Very, very happy. Obviously, we play as well this weekend against the Dream. But her progression with me and our team and what she's doing is, I'm good with it. You know, she's doing a great job.
You guys haven't played in a little while, correct?
Yeah, gosh, it was, I couldn't even tell you. The Atlanta game was 6 weeks, I think, ago.
That's a big time
6,
in
7
between
weeks.
games.
Yeah, we actually gave the girls 3 weeks off.
Wow.
So, you know, they could, you know, do whatever, go.
Not get burnt out with just football. There's nothing to play.
You know, and, you know, a lot of these girls, you know, they got regular jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, you know, hey, go make your money, blah, blah, blah. You know, let your bosses know. We're coming right back in the, you know, a couple of weeks and right back into it. But, you know, a lot of them went on vacation or this and that. And, you know, 4th of July, they had off, that type of thing. But now it's back, you know.
We got a big game this weekend at Toyota Park.
We do. Last game of the season, Denver Dream. You know, they're not in our conference. I mean, we're already penciled in to go. There's a couple girls that are injured. You know, key players that we can rest, which is nice. Mm-hmm. But the thing about us with all the other teams, you know, a lot of teams struggle to get 20 girls. We realistically have 25 to 26.
Wow.
That we're just grooming. You know, these girls never played football. So we're
Those
grooming.
Chicago women are tough over here.
Absolutely. That's one thing too. Is like it's funny. The quarterback coach at Atlanta, who works with Dakota Hughes, who is a very good quarterback. You know, Dominique was like before the game started, he was like, you know, we came out to warm up, and he was like, I can't believe how big your girls are. You know,
Athletic,
tall. You know, 6 foot. I mean, I think we have 5 or 6 girls that are 5'10" or above. So I mean. You know,
I've had the opportunity of coming to some of the games, as you know,
Right.
and being right on the sidelines. And for those of you who don't understand or know, they play really, really hard. It's hard hitting, it's exciting football, and if you've never been there before, you're left and your jaw dropping.
Absolutely. You know, about the league, obviously, it's the appeal of the uniform that gets you there, and then you watch the game and see how they play, and then you're hooked. That's kind of the thing is, you know. Sorry.
That's what happened to me. Is I saw the first LFL game just covering this show. I was like, oh, okay, sounds kind of cheesy, but we'll do it. After about 2 quarters, I was sold. Those girls hit. There's no half-assing anything. It's 100% all the time.
How long ago was that?
It was beginning of this year. The first.
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is your first time?
First
Oh,
time.
He's been getting introduced to football above and beyond the NFL since he's been on the show. So now that's why I'm actually looking to switch gears a little bit, because you've had an interesting path to your career.
Right.
You actually played at Purdue, and then
Little bit.
a little bit, and then you know I will want to touch on that too. But obviously you had some time with Chicago Slaughter as well.
Yeah.
And I'd love to talk to you about your indoor career and what the differences were for you about playing outdoor to indoor football.
Absolutely. You know, obviously, I played at Purdue in the Big Ten. We were majority of the time we were a running football team. Where in high school, I threw probably averaged like 45 times a game.
Wow.
We ran a run and shoot back then. Like, you know, the Warren Moon run and shoot. It wasn't the spread. It was under center and
The Miles Davis run and shoot.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it was.
Dating myself.
Absolutely, and then when I was getting recruited in high school, I mean, I threw for a bunch of yards and I hate that. You know, I'm kind of humble about it, but
Well, on the show, we'd like you to be
Yeah,
not so
please
humble.
leave the humble stuff off of it. Please post yourself.
well-
we can't for you.
right. Well, high school, I broke a lot of records. Put it that way.
All right, that's a start. Fair enough. It's not quite El Bundy's version of the last game where he scored 6 touchdowns.
Right. I had 3 or 4 state records leaving. You know, Jeff George, and you know, I'm old, so I'm 43. So but back then, you know, I had most completions in the game, most attempts, and most yards.
Those are 3
in a
good records
single
to
game.
have.
Single game. And it actually was funny is the attempts and completions were in a different game than I had the yards,
All
which
right.
is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the exact number, but
He does.
I threw 67 times
Jeez.
and completed 52. I think I was 52 for 67
That's a hell
in
of
that
a
game.
day.
And then I threw the yards game was like 5 something.
No, there you go.
So, but and I was a sophomore.
Wow.
So, you know, coming up, obviously I was high school, all state, all conference. I actually was all American. They didn't have all these, you know, cool games. The you know, Army and the Under Armour. They didn't have all that kind of stuff. We had Street and Smith magazine.
And you-
I don't know if you remember
Right,
that.
right.
I'm definitely dating myself right now, but we had
There
Street
wasn't
and-
social media. You weren't able to go out there and promote yourself.
Yeah, there was no Twitter. There wasn't Facebook. None of that stuff. So, but I was top 5 in the country coming out of high school. Which Rob Johnson then went to USC, to the Bills, and yada yada. And
I don't like that
Bobby
guy.
Hoing at Ohio State. Johnny Johnson, who was at Illinois.
Oh yeah.
That's some of the guys that I went to camps with and all that kind of stuff. So
Now with your experience at Purdue, you know,
you know, the thing about Purdue was when I was getting recruited, they were running the run and shoot. With Fred Akers was the head coach. I don't know if you know who Fred Akers is. No, how old are you?
31. 32. I almost know my own age. I was very close.
All right, well, Fred Akers won the national title at Texas, okay?
Okay.
And then he got let go, and he became Purdue's head coach. So he was like a big name. He was a big name. back
Oh,
then,
yeah.
Right. So,
I've never been great at college football, admitted right here.
right. But they took that. I think they're maybe like one of the only teams. Houston was running a little bit.
sure.
with Klingler and all those guys.
Yeah, Andre Ware.
Andre Ware a little bit later, but they ran the run and shoot. So obviously, me in high school running the run and shoot, and then I put some numbers up my first 3 or 4 games, started getting recruited. It's definitely not the same like it used to be. Like how it is now is not even close to what it.
You mean the recruiting process?
Oh, yeah. I mean, how it's your coach calling, and now I mean, all they got to do is go on Huddle and
You have to mail the VHS tape. And
exactly
$6 in packaging, 34
exactly.
stamps.
I actually just dug mine up.
You didn't bring it?
My brother dug it up.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. VHS skipping.
Or it's got the little battery logo on the side at all times.
Just brutal camera footage and whatnot, but but they ran run shoot, and I was going down there a lot. I really was. Obviously, but they were playing like Notre Dame, so I was going to the Notre Dame Purdue game, which I was getting recruited by Notre Dame, or whoever. But I was going there quite a bit, and I was actually very good friends with Coach Jackson, who was the quarterback coach.
Okay.
Fred Jackson is his name. He actually left Purdue, was at Vanderbilt for a year, then went to Michigan, and he was there for 24 years after that. And he was a running back coach there. But he literally, adopted me like a son. And that's why I fell in love with Purdue, the people, but then Coach Akers gets fired. Okay?
No more run and shoot.
No more run and shoot. But, and I kind of weighed my options, took my visits, I was like, I wanted to play. I wanted to play as early as possible, maybe redshirt 1 year and then play. So, I'm looking at Florida, I'm looking at Tennessee, I'm looking at here and there. I'm like, well, there's 5 quarterbacks there just did the numbers game. Illinois had 5 kids, little Jason Verduzco, took a visit there. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay close to home, stay in state. Actually, my mother got sick as well, so she was fighting cancer. So I was like, I got to stay close as possible as well. And it just worked out. Obviously, Purdue's a great school.
Right.
All the other factors were in it. It was just like, I'd rather be an hour and 45 minutes away than be, 12 hours away down in
Something
Gainesville
happened.
or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and like I said, I love the people. Coach Clodell came in, who was at Ohio State. I kind of knew what they did. They ran the eye and, ran the ball. They threw, a decent amount off play action and stuff. I was like, whatever. But our recruiting class was pretty good. Corey Rogers, who played at Leo here, he was actually, Sun Times Player of the Year. We had a couple kids from Joliet Catholic. Here we had a couple All-Americans coming in. I was like, well, this might be we had a nice little recruiting class. I was like, we might be all right. And a lot of us played early. So, Purdue was up and down. We were, 4-7 and 3-8, but the Big Ten was the real deal then,
Right,
too.
sure.
Even Northwestern was beast when I was a junior.
Well, that's all.
Wisconsin was obviously Ohio State. Michigan was the tops as usual, but Illinois was good. Simeon Rice and those guys, defense. Mac. They were just.
Well, I'm going to switch gears on you for one more second again, and I know you as a person. I know that you like to have fun and that you're
Absolutely.
a prankster as well, but you are known for that. You are known for being the lighthearted individual who likes to have fun, and you've been known as being that guy who is known for the prankster. Talk to me a little bit
Talking about the Quad
that.
City thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta keep it loose a little bit. Gotta keep it loose. I obviously, when it comes down to business,
Sure.
be business wise. But you know what? You gotta keep it loose. And you know what? If playing football is fun,
Yes.
and that's one thing that a lot of people lose track of. Even high school kids, even middle school kids nowadays, they lose track of. Everybody's like, oh, I need to be serious. I'm trying to go to
Sure.
I'm trying to go to Alabama.
Right.
But if you lose focus on having fun playing a little kid's game,
What's the
then
point?
it's not there. Yeah.
That's right.
Obviously, like I said, serious, yes, but you got to enjoy it.
That's right.
And that's what I always kept it loose, man. Especially, it was a little bit later when I got that label.
Sure.
I was kind of a jerk. My last 4 or 5 years, I kind of loosened up a lot more than usual, but I definitely Yeah, I definitely was a prankster. You know.
Did that follow you into your later life as well? Like when you went into the indoor, were you still that prankster? Now that you're a coach,
You know,
do you feel that,
college,
do you feel that way?
college it wasn't there. It was arena league.
Oh, yeah?
Gotcha. Because you know what? There's no reason not to have a lot of fun in arena league. Because
Sure.
obviously you throw the heck out of it, and you know. But I mean, that's where a lot of the shenanigans used to happen.
Do you have a favorite prank you ever pulled on someone? One that rings out to you?
Oh, dude, we used to do a lot of stuff. I'm telling you. Look, they made me the ringleader. It wasn't just me.
Okay.
Put it that way. But I used to do the, you know, you probably remember this, like the icy hot and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah. Put it.
nasty pranks.
You gotta think though. Nobody wore jocks anymore, so it was like you'd have to like put it like on their ear pads. Mm-hmm. So you put your helmet on, and it
the
just
sweat
start
starts
burning
going.
right here, bro. And then they come, you know, they would bring it out to practice, right? You're not putting your helmet on, you get out to the practice field, especially like indoor, like arena league. So we're inside practicing, and then you put it on, and then you finally start sweating, and you just like see them just irritated.
Burning. What's going
And
on?
I hear-
My head's on fire.
I hear effing Pike. You know, and there's usually the big boys and always defense people. I never mess with
Sure.
my never
Never
mess with linemen.
Makes sense.
Never mess with the linemen. Never mess with receivers.
You buy them meals, but you give icy hot to
You
the D-line.
you dang right, especially at practice.
Well, another thing I wanted to talk about was, obviously your experience with the run and shoot probably helped you out with the indoor and arena game.
Absolutely.
Explain your experience with that. Like, what was it, that transition going into, what made you, who told you about indoor and arena? How'd you find out?
Leaving Purdue, I didn't sorry, I didn't get an invite to the combine. Didn't get that kind of stuff because we didn't throw a lot. My numbers weren't that great. I think I was 62% completion percentage, but we threw maybe 12 times a game. But we did have Mike Allstott and Corey Rogers in my backfield, so
Just give the ball to Mike, give the ball to Corey.
let them eat, right? But so when I left Purdue, I did get in touch with an agent. They did give me some looks. I was in camp with the Cowboys for a heartbeat, and then I left, and I was actually coaching. But I had a coaching opportunity. I did go to NFL Europe, so I was over there with the Frankfurt Galaxy
Oh, okay.
for 5 months, whatever it was, and I came back and was doing my coaching thing. And I was down in southern Kentucky, off of 75 going towards Knoxville. Little small school, NAIA school called Sue Bennett College is where I was at. And I ran into another agent. I dropped my agent because I was like, I'm not playing anymore, you know what I mean? I ran into a guy at Eastern Kentucky, which is EKU, which is it's maybe like a half hour north from there. And he talked about this arena league stuff, and I'm like, what the heck is that? I mean, I never really knew about it. He's like, well, trust me. I was like, I think you'd be perfect. Set up a couple of tryouts for me. I went to, where did I go? Tampa's where I ended up. But I went to a couple of different spots. Like Orlando, I had a tryout with them, who was actually Jay Gruden was the head coach
yeah.
then. Went there, and I caught on with Tampa. I went down there, had a great workout. He loved me. Unfortunately, P.T. Willis was the starter down there.
I remember
who
that.
Played for the Bears. Florida State guy. Obviously a Florida kid in Florida. So that's how I got introduced.
You got to stay with the Slaughter.
Loved the game. Well, that was like late. That was late. That was actually my last year ever playing football.
Was it?
Like actually on the field, yeah. But Tampa, there for 2 years. Kind of bounced around. Philly, I came here, played for the Rush for a second.
Okay.
Portland, New York with the Dragons. Kind of bounced around.
Try to remember that team.
You put a lot of miles on that car.
I did. Yeah, no doubt. Flying, all that kind of stuff. It was all over the place. But
Now, when you made that transition, was it really hard, or was it like better for you because of the run and shoot background?
it did help. It did help because obviously run and shoot, you get really quick, quick throws and all that kind of stuff. 100%. Run and shoot was different because we half rolled. Mm-hmm. I mean, the actual run and shoot was half rolls and throw, or like a 3-step or 5-step straight back, but it was mostly half rolls. Arena league, it might be 1-step, sling
Right.
it. So going to Tampa and learning from PT was awesome for me. And definitely it was such a transition from going from The outdoor field to indoor, crazy.
Yeah, 100 yards by 50 down to 50 by 25.
50 by 28 and some change.
Something like
Excuse
that.
me.
Not that I don't know, but yeah. But you got pads, so you got to worry about that. Yeah. But I mean, and it's
It's quick.
quick.
But obviously,
That's why Kurt Warner was such a monster.
right?
You know.
And obviously, the indoor and arena league extended your career.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I loved it. Did I have to work another job? Sure. Tampa was pretty good. Then they started messing with the pay scales and all that.
Right.
Tampa was great, man. It was great because we won, so we always had a win bonus, which was like $500. And then if I ever got in the game, which was rare because PT had a thing in his contract where every touchdown was extra
Oh, he's
money.
not going out.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be up like 62-35. Middle of the third quarter, he's like, "Oh, let me throw a couple more." I'd be like, "I want to eat too." I was like, "I want my check to be a little bit fatter," but yeah, I mean, that's how they did it back then. And then they kind of made a change, so it was all incentive based.
Sure.
I mean, even defensive guys tackle inside the 5, interception
When you were
for
playing, did they
touchdown.
do a lot of Ironman football back then too?
It was Iron Man.
That's what I thought.
It was. The only guys that ever came out was the quarterback and one of the receivers.
Wow.
Yep. And then the other 2 receivers had to play defense. So
That was definitely a different time in arena.
One receiver was a DB and one played like the jack linebacker spot.
That was a classic era of arena football. I really enjoyed when everybody was playing
Yeah.
Ironman. I know it's dangerous,
Oh,
but it was
100%.
definitely a lot of fun to see.
Yeah,
Todd
and-
McMillan was good at it.
Absolutely. I was just going to say something like that. Like, so your running back played linebacker.
Yep.
Your lineman played D line. Now they would, you could shuffle them a little bit.
Sure.
But it wasn't, platoons. Put it
Those
that
guys
way.
were in real good shape, that's for sure.
they had to
able to
be.
play both sides of the ball. I mean, that's like ancient times, and then they brought it into arena.
Absolutely.
That was good stuff.
Absolutely. And and one thing too is like we were good down there. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
our Tampa team was good. We won the championship and lost one when I was there. So and then obviously with Orlando and Jay Gruden, I mean he's the coach of the freaking Redskins now. So
Sure.
that's where he came from.
All right, we got about to wrap up, but one last question. How did you find out about the Bliss? How did you become part of that organization?
Okay, well that comes in the Slaughter thing. Okay, and here's how I really got Keith Hack, who's our head coach.
Ah,
Okay, and you know about the semi-pro team that used to be called the King County Eagles.
correct.
I was in Quad City playing in the arena. I played quarterback and I worked in the front office when I was there. So that was like towards the end of my career. So I think it was 05. A guy named Nick Constantino played for the Eagles and he played for us. He was like, "Hey, would you want to come up to Chicago and play 11-man?" Okay. So I was driving from Quad City, game day, no practice, and playing games with these guys. And we were smashing people. So when the Slaughter came into existence, I was actually in Fort Wayne working in the front office for that team, and something went down with the owner, and he just lost his mind. But he did. I called Hack, and Hack was he wasn't the head coach, but he was assistant head coach because Steve McMichael was the head coach.
Correct.
So he was like, "Hey, come here. You can be the backup quarterback." And Ronnie Gordon was a starter, and Ronnie already played. We already played together. So Ryan was a starter, so I came in and played for him. He's the head coach for the girls. So 3 years ago, they put a rule in for their Chicago team, okay, in the LFL. We had to throw 2 out of our 4 downs.
Just for Chicago.
The Chicago rule is what it was, okay? Because we ran the ball so much because Chrisdell Harris is our running back. Heather was our quarterback, so we ran option and all that kind of stuff.
You could defend it.
No, they're like Chrisdell is
You don't want to tackle him.
Chrisdell is Marshawn Lynch in a
Yeah.
girl's body.
Oh, I don't want to tackle.
Well, and with the same attitude.
We know we
Like,
we
I'm
compared
talking-
it to when we saw her. We thought it was like, well, I mean, for lack of a better term, Walter Payton. I mean,
Yeah.
the way she glides.
There you go, too.
I mean, she's got strides. Their strides are so long.
Track girl.
Okay.
Track girl. Fast, right? So he called me and he said, "Hey, can you come work with my quarterback?" Right? And this is when they were shooting that show, too, as well.
Oh, yeah.
Showing Oxygen and all that stuff. So I was like, "Absolutely, man. Whatever you need." He's like, "You just work with her. She needs to work on some mechanics." So that's how it is. And then he was just like, "Hey, you might as well join the staff." And we're actually 7 deep
That's
with our staff.
Yeah, most teams only have 2 or 3, right?
Right. Every position has their own individual coach.
Well, that's a huge advantage for the Bliss.
Absolutely, and that and we all played. It was funny is we all played for him at some, either with either with the Slaughter or the Eagles.
Sure.
So, we understand him. He understands us. Not that we always see eye to eye. Heck no, but it is what it is.
It should be heck no.
Right. I'm gonna use that. I am going to use that.
Please feel free.
Well, on that
at
front-
least once a week I use those.
Yeah.
On that front, we're going to take a break, but thank you very much, Coach Pike, for coming in.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see the girls on Saturday. It should be a lot of fun.
Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Tommy.
Oh, you coming?
Very much. I'll be
Oh,
watching.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. You have it.
Oh,
You'll enjoy it.
flash the ring. Show everybody. They got 3 championships, and they're on their way to get their 4th.
Yeah,
That's how it's going to be.
We're on our way for 4 out
Beautiful
four
race.
out of 5.
It's going to happen.
So yeah, I mean they call us the dynasty, and nobody else has 4. LA has 3, but that's when they were models playing football.
That's different.
Sure.
Different
It's
era.
not the
Different time.
same. Football's evolved, man.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll take a break, and I want Football 365. I'm back in a bit.
Start with a thought. Think. Work with the client. Brainstorm. Brainstorm some more. Break? No, not enough time. More ideas. More designs. Pick an idea. Make a plan. Stop. Check the plan. Love the plan. Do the plan. Go. Draw the logo. Get some input. Scratch that. Find a new perspective. Revise. Revise some more. New logo. New design. Okay. Grab the materials. Get the guys. Work. Keep working. It's all about the quality. Keep going. Finish. Polish. Get the job done. Make the client happy. Make them proud. Celebrate. Make it easy to brand their company. Mark your space. Chicagoland's premier sign company.
Welcome back to I Want Pro Football 365, covering pro football around the world. Messed up my own slogan. But now we have the CFL coming up. A lot of great games this weekend. And one team had to play 2 games in 1 week. The Ottawa Red Blacks had that honor.
There's only 9 teams in the league, brother. So they have an interesting schedule, and even I have sometimes a hard time keeping up and following it all.
Oh,
3 games in
imagine.
11 days,
I couldn't
4
imagine.
games in 17 days. So they are tired. And they did not have a win all season until they played the Montreal Alouettes at home.
Yep. And they got that. They got a win in 24-19.
And you will see most of the Ottawa Red Blacks, they're only got 1 win, but their season differential is only -4 points. So
Wow.
they've been tough luck the entire time.
It's been a great season so far. We were just listening to some information about the CFL on the way here, and this has definitely been one of the most exciting seasons in over a decade. And it's only a quarter of the way through.
Right.
Each week has been more exciting than the next. So, I mean, Edmonton and Montreal was no different this week. That was another game that was. Am I reading the long one? That's the long one.
I had the wrong name on there. The Edmonton did not play Montreal.
Just kidding.
That was a great game, though. That was down to the wire. That was last seconds getting a touchdown off of there. But most of these games were real close. And then next week, BC Lions did the same thing to Winnipeg, 45-42. BC was down big and rolled up 18 unanswered points to get that win.
And, scoring there is, ridiculous. I mean, it's tough. And that
Not
field
easy.
is so huge, whether they have those guys moving in motion or not. I mean, it's tough to score because that's a lot of field, but
You've got 110 yards, and you got 65 wide. So even a pass in the flat is using some arm.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys I know that played up there, and they're like, you are gassed.
You have to be a hell of an athlete to be a receiver or any position in that league, really.
Right.
But they're doing the 40-yard dash on every play.
Well, it's like a arena league, but
Yep.
But then you got like 3-4 of them. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
I want to know how they call their plays. I never had an opportunity to go up there or anything like that. I mean, did I go to a tryout? Yeah, but I never, the playbook. That's
It'd
what
be
I
interesting.
want. I want to know what they say.
I'd like to see Mark Trussman's playbook. He's the head coach over
Right,
at
right,
Argonauts.
right.
I mean, he's a mastermind as is. But that particular game that we were just referencing, that 45-42, to put up those kind of numbers with that big of a field, those are arena numbers in the largest field possible
Exactly.
in pro football. Is it could be.
Exactly.
So that's remarkable that they did that. Riley, of course, this year. I'm sorry, not Riley. Yeah, that was Riley. Or no.
Mike
Who
Riley
was
in
that?
Edmonton.
No, I'm talking about the wrong team.
Lule for BC.
Yes, Lule for BC. He's had a hell of a year.
Well,
It's unbelievable.
That's
Quarterback?
Yeah, it's a great story because their original quarterback got hurt the first play of the last game of the previous week. So it's like, well, what is Lule going to do? He had a great first couple of years and then just floundered. He got hurt, didn't get his job back for a while. And then he had one of the best statistical games ever in the CFL in reserve.
Being that typical backup kind of guy.
Right.
Gotcha.
And then he's showing it again. And they don't have quite a quarterback controversy or anything, but they got two great quarterbacks. They got two quarterbacks that can start in any team, and now they're both healthy.
Where did he play ball at, Lule? Anybody you had an idea?
That I'm not sure.
Like
I
college
have to
somewhere
look
or
that
something?
up. Yeah, now you're stumping me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm still.
gotta Google it.
Yeah, well, the CFL. I mean, a lot of they try to keep their players from the
can do
local
that.
colleges in the area. The colleges
Yeah.
up there actually play the same kind of football
Yeah.
that they play in the pros, which most people don't understand
Mm-hmm.
that. So they're really big on trying to grow it from within.
Absolutely.
They actually have programs set up for the CFL teams directly to their colleges where they donate money
Yep.
and flourish those programs so they can get where they need to go.
Yeah.
So they can say, hey, you want to come play for us when you grow up.
Absolutely.
It's bred into your system.
Yeah. One of my, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but one of my friends is Stevie Schnorr, who plays for Seattle.
Okay.
She lives in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
She's a Canadian girl.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that's what she told me that before, that they kind of groom them to play their game and not American football.
Well, he went to Montana State, and you'll see almost all the quarterbacks. I can't think of one right now who isn't. They're all American.
Correct. Mhm.
So there's import ratios. You have 21 Americans, 20 Canadians, and 3 quarterbacks, but they're always Americans.
Right.
Not really the same thing.
Well, there's some big names have been up there before.
Oh, for sure.
Warren Moon.
Joe Theismann.
Right.
Doug Flutie.
Yep.
Flutie.
Yeah, they just
Even I'm talking about well, I hate to say it, but Lawrence Phillips. Was
Oh,
up
yeah,
there
he was-
tearing it up.
Yeah, Ricky
Before.
Williams went up there for a short period of
There you
time
go.
as well. My favorite
Rocket.
Ishmael.
I took it right out of my mouth, didn't I?
See, I was my favorite, and he goes Rocket, and I was like, yes. But almost every show we almost find a way to put his name into it because he was the reason what got me interested in the CFL in the first place.
Yeah.
Watching him move from Notre Dame to the CFL, I would have never seen that. I know you don't like that.
Notre Dame.
You live too close to
I'm
them
just
growing up.
playing. I'm just playing.
Well, we also brought up Doug Flutie, and I kind of want to bring up that game as well. I know I'm going out of order here, but there was a great game this a couple days ago. It's from Toronto and Ottawa, and they actually honored Doug Flutie. It was
okay.
at 1997 is the last time he played for the CFL, and they won a Grey Cup. So they did Doug Flutie bobblehead night.
I mean, that dude was amazing.
Oh, unbelievable.
At 5'2", or whatever he was.
6,600 plus yards in one season, that 97 season.
Wow.
So
Six-time most outstanding player.
Toronto had a thing, 1997 for 2 tickets. So a lot of fans showed up for that. You got a Doug Flutie bobblehead out of that deal. Can't really beat that. But they
Well, not only did they not, can't even beat it because they ended up doing a last-second game. They won on a field goal with seconds left to go.
So they saw a good football game as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
yes.
So
That's
they,
awesome.
so they it was a win-win situation, and Toronto, as we've talked about, it's my favorite team, but they also have been the surprise this year to everybody else except me. I knew they were going to be good. I've been calling it and screaming it. Go back to
He calls a
episode
lot
1,
of
you can
stuff.
see it.
some sticks to the wall, most doesn't.
True, but when it does stick to the wall, I make sure everybody knows about it. Okay, so
at you.
the Argonauts have Ricky Ray, and Ricky Ray's kind of like the Peyton Manning of the CFL, in my opinion. Thrown for over 50,000 yards, he has the pedigree of winning in the past, and he
ridiculous.
he doesn't have like a cannon arm, but one of the most beautiful throws you've ever seen is like, how they've got that wide space, so he just knows how to loft it.
Put enough,
And just
put enough touch on it.
Just enough touch where it's put it right there
like
for him.
they're like, ah.
And then this year they have S.J. Green, which is like a Terrell Owens on your team without the baggage. The guy could catch it all.
Speaking
He's
of
a
that,
beast.
I think T.O. played up there for a second, too.
Yeah,
He tried.
Yeah, he tried it.
Right.
Chad Owens, or Chad, not Chad Owens. Actually, he's a real
Chad
person.
Johnson?
Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson went up there for a minute too, and he was one of the first people to say, he's like, this is a completely different game. He's like, I have a lot of respect for these guys.
Yep.
He's like, they're in unbelievable shape. Sometimes he thought that the receivers out there were in better shape than the ones in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's constant sprinting for them. It's always, like you said, 40
Yeah,
yards.
You're always doing that.
Jog back 40 yards. After
Right.
15, 16 sprints in 10 minutes, you're good to go.
Coming here and there, doing the yo-yo.
waggle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, another game that we make sure we mention is the Calgary Stampeders played the Saskatchewan Roughriders this past weekend as well. And Bo Levi Mitchell, of course, led them to victory as usual. 27-10 was the end score there. Although we talked about the Roughriders got Kevin Glenn, it's just not enough. He's a 17-year veteran, and he just might be at the end of the road for him.
Well, Saskatchewan
Right.
it's a weird system they have going on there. It's not a dumpster fire, but it's not that far from it. The dumpster fire probably belongs to Hamilton. That's a team that lost to Edmonton Eskimos. Every single game, they found a new way to make themselves lose. So this is the first time they're competitive, and I feel bad because Hamilton's my team, and man, it's tough sometimes watching that. They have one good player. No, sorry, they've been good players. So one good player is Will Hill, who managed to get himself suspended a week by grabbing a ref by the collar and talking to him pretty firmly.
It's like,
Yeah, Will Hill's
like
no
soccer
joke.
or something.
When the Hamilton Tiger Cats came and played the Argonauts, he blocked 2 field goals
In the first
And-
half.
Yeah, and by himself, and he did that. Like I was like, how could you have an impact on a game that way? That's pretty remarkable. So I'm glad that, no offense, but I'm glad that they're at the end of the bottom of the totem pole.
The Tiger Cats will rise again.
How deep are they into the season up there?
It's a quarter of the way through.
Okay.
So they got.
I always see it, but I never really watch it.
I mean, unless you have if you got the urge to watch it, then it's different. Like if you want to see competitive, good football, people like college football. I get it. I got to a point in my life where it's like, yeah, I can see 1 or 2 good college games here and there,
Yeah.
but to be able to watch pros, people who are getting paid to play, that's why I honed in on it so much. You know?
Right.
And now, like back in the day, it used to be NFL Europe. Well, now you're seeing China Arena Football League is the
Right.
new international
Yeah.
haven for everybody to go to this upcoming year. I see a lot of our people that we used to know,
Yep.
like Amir Ishmael, is going to be head coaching out there this year.
Two of my former teammates were over there last year when they played. JJ Rederink, who actually played
That's
for the
right.
Rush,
Yeah.
and then Kimo Neheu, the kicker.
Okay.
I used to hold for him, but he kicked over there last year.
Yeah, it's changing and it's evolving, and we want to continue to put a spotlight on it all.
I wish they had more teams though. They only had like 4 teams.
Yeah,
I think.
they try to
So,
expand.
It's
It's not-
tough.
yeah.
I mean, it's like the LFL too. as
Sure.
well. We have 8, but I mean, it'll catch on.
Yeah, they're moving their.
It's entertaining.
They're moving their leagues
you
in
know?
the spring, so that way they feel like better Chinese viewership in the spring, so they're
Sure.
not competing with much. So I think they have the right things on plan. Just
Absolutely. And you know what's
that's why.
funny is like NFL is everywhere. Even Japan, where they don't, you wouldn't think, but it's
is.
everywhere.
You
It's
see pictures of
really
Tom
crazy.
Brady in Tokyo, and he's just surrounded by fans.
Right. And they're like that with all, a lot of the sports, especially Americans, like basketball and like that stuff too. But definitely, you can see it's such a great sport. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
And the way it's just expanding and getting to, like, they show our games in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
I mean, there's numerous.
Really?
I think there's 8 or 9 other countries that they show it in. Like, you wouldn't
Oh,
think
the
that.
LFL, yes, they have
LFL
a
game.
lot of.
Yeah.
They make announcements every other week. We have a new provider in this country. That's
Yep.
got Africa in the Mid East.
Yeah,
like you're saying.
we're getting ready to expand to Nashville, so that's good too. But I'm getting off the.
I mean, but that's
Canadian.
okay because football is globalizing, and and our goal on this show is to be kind of ambassadors to pro football around the world, and I
Sure.
think, and that's why we like having you, someone like you on the show, not only who is currently coaching in that world, but you've already actually traveled a lot of the road
Yeah.
that other people are wanting to go. Like and so it's exciting to have you around, and you've actually had an opportunity to get around a lot of players that I've worked with,
Right.
and you've helped coach them up and mentor them up too,
Absolutely.
which I greatly appreciate.
No problem.
But we got to get to our picks of the week.
Yes,
Uh-oh.
Coach Pike, let's see how good you are picking teams. So the first game in the
And we're
CFL
keeping
this
track.
week is actually on right now. Montreal Alouettes are visiting the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
We won't cheat and look right now and see how it's going. We'll just pick them.
I'll go with the Alouettes.
All right, Pike with the Alouettes. Mark?
I'm on with the Alouettes. I'll have to go with Coach Pike on that one.
And you
I
guys
gotta just surprise them.
You guys are both wrong. So it will be the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
We might be wrong.
I just feel the West is just so much better than the East. It's not close all that often. But now that I said that, Winnipeg's going to lose by 50.
Right.
So next game, with the BC Lions at the Edmonton Eskimos. This is probably the game of the week. BC Lions are really strong. They're the second best offensive scoring. And the Edmonton Eskimos have Mike Riley, who just seems to find a way to win. The unbeaten quarterbacks head-to-head. Who do you have?
Who's BC's quarterback?
I think it's still Lule this
Yeah, it
week.
is.
We're going to go with Lule. I like his name.
For me, only you could flip a coin. I think either team could win this game. I'm going to have to give my hat tip over to Edmonton because it's at home.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised if it goes either way. I think it'll be close. I could feel it being another 42-45 game. But Edmonton Eskimos are green and gold, so Edmonton Eskimos gets the nudge in this one.
And you could skip me on this next one. You already know where I'm going.
Yes, he is picking Saskatchewan to beat Toronto.
Craziness. Argonauts will roll over the Rough Riders. There's nothing they can do to stop Ricky Ray. Sorry, Saskatchewan.
I was going with Toronto. The name. I know that their track
Argonauts.
record from before. So
I think for names, Saskatchewan Roughriders has to be the winner. I mean, both are fun to say. But I have to go with Mark this time. I don't like doing that.
that's a smart
But
pick.
Saskatchewan, they seem to have a lot of issues going on with the team. I don't want to get into it too far. But the next one, oh boy, Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to Calgary.
That's your boys, right?
Yes, but Calgary Stampeders are probably the most solid team in the entire CFL.
Their quarterback
Stampeders is red, white, and black, right? Mm-hmm. My high school colors. I'm going with Calgary.
Oh, that's a good reason. Mark?
Yeah, you got to go with the Stampeders. Bo Levi Mitchell is their quarterback. What a great name. And he great name. Bo Levi Mitchell. Anytime you have to say three names, on a quarterback, then you've got yourself a good quarterback. Bo Levi Mitchell. And you have to say
He's got to be from the South, right?
Yes, but he was the most outstanding player of the year last year. And he actually went to the Grey Cup when they lost unexpectedly to Henry Burris, an ex Chicago Bear quarterback.
Hannibal Burris.
Henry Burris. But yeah, it was that's something else. I think we'll see Calgary will win that game.
And I'll have to go with Calgary Stampeders. They're the best team. And Hamilton, they showed a lot more promise last week, but they still haven't found a way to pull the trigger.
Bo Levi Pike. That's my son's name. Keep that. I know there's none in Indiana.
Yeah, right.
All right, we're going to take a break now. We're going to come back with C.J. Young of the Chicago Chaos. Running backs have been there since the Chaos has started.
Yes. He's been there for 7 years.
Is that old?
And he's got a great story. He is a really good rapper.
Yes, he's a talented artist, and we're excited to have him on the show.
Oh,
All
wow.
right, we'll be back in a bit then. I Want Football 365, covering pro football around the world.
Well, I got started at IMS because I really had nothing going on for me. I didn't have a job. I wasn't in school, and I was just getting out of my other school. I knew I wanted to go into broadcasting, but I didn't want to spend too much time in college. I'd already spent about 4 years, and I was like, I really don't have that much time to just play around anymore. So I really wanted to get into the business, and I had a friend, and he went to the school, graduated, and I saw he was already in the business, and everything was happening so quickly, and I went to him, I was like, hey, how did you get started? And he said, at the time, Illinois Center for Broadcasting, and I was like, all right. So I looked into it, went on a tour, and it changed my life. It really did. From the first step I took into the place, you felt the energy in there, and so many positive vibes coming from everywhere, and that's just the first time you step into it. And then you get started into it, and you're learning from industry professionals, you're learning from some of the best to ever do it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here in front of people that I grew up watching, and just going through that process, man, that whole year was the time of my life. I was super duper busy, but it was so much fun. Got an internship right away, was actually in a real radio station, and I saw my dreams coming true right before my eyes. And what's awesome is that I love the school so much, I couldn't leave. Graduated, and I'm still there now. I'm working with The Edge, theedgeonair.com at the Lombard campus. I am the assistant program assistant there, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun watching these new students come in, watching the students learn, and then they're looking up to me because I'm here working at a real radio station, knowing what goes into a radio show, and their eyes and their passion. It reminds me a lot of when I was at the school and the passion that I had, and they're working hard every single day, and it just drives me, and I love seeing that, and I love giving back. And if I'm just able to be that person for them to go to just for advice or whatever they need, I'd love to be that person, and it's an absolute honor that I'm able to hold that position for them to give them somebody to go to. I am George Norwood. I am the promotions assistant for 103.9 The Fox. I am the overnight host for Star 105.5, and I am also the assistant program director for theedgeonair.com at the Lombard campus, and I am IMS.
Welcome back to I Want Football 365, covering pro football around the world. And as promised, today we have CJ Young visiting us. Thank you very much for coming in.
Oh, number 25 from the Chicago Chaos, man. Real excited to have you here.
Oh, man, glad to be here, man.
The player of the week. It shows. You get every week one of the players, when they get named player of the week, they get to go home with this for the whole week. And explain to us a little about your experience about getting this.
Well, by the time the third quarter really hit, they really wanted to pound the ball. So, you know what I mean? Without even saying nothing, the lineman, just gave me a look, and we went from there. It's a lot of, 26 dive, and, me telling them I'm going to take the first one that you give me. So, yeah.
Well, good picture of you rolling down the MSFL this year. I'm real excited to have you. You've been on the team since its inception. You've been on the Chicago Chaos for 7 straight years.
Yeah.
That's an amazing journey. You obviously have been there for all 4 championships.
Definitely.
And, you were there for the loss when we didn't win last year, which I know it's had to be rough for you. You've been on the team longer than I have.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know about your personal journey with the Chaos, and what does the Chaos mean to you, I guess is my best question.
The Chaos was everything. They took me in as a kid. They just saw a kid that just really liked to play football. I just wanted to be part of something good, something that was organized. That's what I tell people when you're joining the Chaos. You're joining something that's organized and it's solid. So, I think I was the youngest kid on the team at the time. So I was like, I just want to make a good impression. I don't want to show that I'm too young. So I just bought, what football taught me. Football helped guide half my life, to be honest. So I just kind of fell into it. Mike Melody opened me up with, open arms. You know what I mean? Welcomed me to the team. So, yeah. He's been my mentor ever since.
Very cool, very cool. And we obviously love having you on the team, and it's been fun covering you. I got a chance to obviously be at the game this past week when we went up to Wisconsin to play the Hitmen, and some of the runs you were putting on them, even at the very end, were just devastating. It just looked like they did not want to tackle you.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's all about, we're in the defense side, everything else opens. So with the run, it's just, the game will tell you what needs to happen in the game. Whether we need to pass it a lot, we wear them down, we set them up for play action, anything we want to do. It helps control our destiny, basically. So, yeah.
Well, and then obviously you do a little bit more than just play football. You're also a very talented rap artist. And I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about your career and where you're looking to do with that, and then we could come back to football. But talk to me a little bit about your music career.
With music, I started writing at the age of 10. Actually, the funny thing is I started making music the same year I started playing football, and I was the age of 10.
So that was kind of intertwined for you.
Yeah, honestly, I got a single out now, Hunger Pains, just released it yesterday.
Great song.
Yeah, I think it's my best record up to date. I make a lot of records. I made a record called Being Black not too long ago. So it's based on the reception I get. It's just like, football, anything that motivates me to get better the next time around. But, just writing on personal experiences. I started with like poetry maybe as a kid in church during the holiday seasons. I was writing poetry, so when I get hugs and told certain things, it helps me come up with new material every time. So I performed at a bar out in Bellwood about 2 years ago, and I got an encore. And since then, it's like, okay, now that's how I know, the shows has to happen. I have to present my music to the world. I never know how anybody's going to accept it. In my mind, something can always be better, but people tell me different, so that's what helps me along the way.
So you've opened for some pretty big guys before.
Yeah.
Who have you opened for? So,
Open for Duke the Beast. It was a situation with Lil Bibby not too long ago that I had a chance to open with. I did a show for DJ Jamal Smalls from WGCI, and a lot of good promoters out of the city, Young Chi-Town, Club Mojo's, Kanye and Waka Flocka have attended out there. So, yeah.
that's some good names to be back in.
Yeah, nice to be associated with that stuff. Obviously, you are putting out some more music, and your goal is to make music your life, I would assume.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, make as much music as I can. I'm always writing. You know, it's always something in my phone, whether I'm on a train ride or just walking, and it's something on my mind. I'll just memorize it in my head until I get it down on my phone. I haven't written on paper in like 2 years, so everything just comes quick on the phone now. You know how technology is. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. And I have to bring Michael into this part of the conversation. Last week we had the opportunity of interviewing Derek Ross, and he is the all-time leading rusher for arena and indoor football.
Yeah.
And he just recently won a championship with the Jacksonville Sharks. Well, the reason why I bring his name up is that your game reminds me of his.
Okay.
You are that kind of running back. You have the potential to do the same kind of career that he had.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that is still a potential possibility for you. Are you
Definitely
keeping the
is.
door open for that for yourself?
Always.
If the game were to call you up, and whether it was indoor, arena, or CFL, is that something you'd like to do?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I have a profile right now on Europlayers.com. I was emailed by a team from overseas just recently, so I let them know. Yeah, it's definitely some stuff I got to get done.
Congratulations.
As far as passports and meal plans and stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah. That window is always open. I mean, all it takes is for Saturday night to come, and for 7 p.m. to hit, and for that sun to drop, and for those lights to cut on, and the love's always there. It makes me feel like a kid every single week. There's not one week I'm not nervous, but I'm nervous because I'm afraid to fail.
Well, it's good nerves.
Yeah,
You know,
so it's
nerves
good
that push
nerves.
you.
Yeah,
Right.
do everything but fail. Yeah.
Because I called a game, one of your games, against the Tri-City Ducks, which is probably not your favorite game of this year for this team, but I didn't want to tackle you. I don't want to tackle any of these guys, but that looked painful for some of the hits you were laying out.
Yeah, definitely, man. I have to let you know that I'm here. So as many hits, I gotta let you know I'm here. So if we gonna clash every time, I'm gonna start getting space. It's just like dealing with traffic on the E-way. Eventually, they see the skills you drive at, and then eventually it's gonna open up.
Right, so you get hit 2 yards beyond the line. I'm like, okay, well, he's got 7 yards.
Yeah,
That guy just got knocked over.
I know exactly what play you're talking about. Yeah, I woke up with a bad ankle sprain. I didn't notice my ankle was that bad, man, until I was limping at work the next day. So yeah, I didn't know. But
Well, for those of you who don't know, the Chicago Chaos are a minor league football team. They're a registered nonprofit, and they help players like CJ have an opportunity to continue to play their game and grow, not only as a football player, but as a person, as he's talked about today. So it's great to have you on board again. Thank you. And, he already mentioned it, this upcoming Saturday, we have a game at 7 o'clock in Tinley Park against the Lincoln Way Patriots. They're 5-1. Chicago Chaos are 5-1. It's going to be a huge game. Not just a big game. I should say huge. Because this is for positioning for the playoffs. And it's also for bragging rights of this school. Because I know that the Lincoln Way Patriots also broadcast through this school.
Okay.
There's a lot of people here that are rooting for the Chaos, but there's a small select group of people that are rooting for the Lincoln Way Patriots. And I got to admit, I'm real excited about shutting them up.
yeah, I am. I am.
Sorry to get a little personal here, folks, but
That's only Mark bringing everybody else on the team opinion. Yeah, I think he speaks for everybody on that one. But you know what I mean? I'm really excited for this game. Last 2-3 weeks, we've been underdogs for some reason. Only thing, with me is like when you hear chaos, give it respect. Everybody's going to have their opinion. Just always give it respect, especially for our defense. The last 3 weeks, I think we've only given up, the last 3 games, I think the defense has only given up 9 points.
the defense has been scary
So the
this
defense, I don't mind the defense setting the tone and then us coming behind them. I'm the fan of a lot of players of the team I play with. As far as our linebackers, corners, defensive ends, and linemen. You know what I mean? I'm excited to watch everybody play and do
That
what
is
they
a
do.
fast defense. They hit hard, but
It is, yeah.
no one's running away from them.
The fact, I think it messes with the quarterback's nerves, and when you mess with once you're in the quarterback's head, you control the flow. Yeah, you
And
control the flow.
speaking of the
what's
speed of
going on.
defense, one of the plays I most remember recently was when one of the running backs had gotten away from us, and Adam Nelson tracked him down. He's a lineman.
He's a beast.
And for him to be able to catch up, and then it showed me how quick everybody is on the team, but just wow,
Yeah.
you're not going to get away from us. You're not going to run. You're not going to be able to run up the score on us. It's going to be a close game at best, and I'm hoping for a non-close game this week. I'm looking forward to put them to rest early, but I do imagine that they're going to come to play.
Yeah.
So they've got they've got a good team over there, and I'm pretty sure they've had this circled on their calendar as well.
Definitely, yeah. One of my childhood friends I grew up with, Ronald Zolikoff, plays with them. You know, I'm a fan of his. He's a fan of mine. But yeah, I'm hoping the defense really looks to, you know, cut those sidelines off of them, bring it back inside, and then you know we make a nice chaos sandwich from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, what do you think about playing in the MSFL this year compared to playing in the GFL last year?
It's a different look. You know, yeah, you know, the referees are different, the way the game is played. It's at a different speed, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's pretty different. They value the plays, whether it's no huddle or in huddle. It's a little bit more high at the professional level. So, yeah, you know,
nice.
we was definitely excited for it. I think that had a lot to do with us getting a lot of new, fresh talent on the team this year. You know, it was a new motivation, new area. You know, we played different arenas, you know what I mean?
I've had a chance to talk to the coaches. You know, 60% of a team is brand new this year.
Yeah.
So you're one of the few that has been there since day one.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, obviously we have tradition, and we want to continue that winning tradition. And what a great way to do it, to hopefully get an MSFL championship in our first year in the league.
Oh, that's the goal, yeah.
That's
yeah,
the
that's
plan.
the goal. I think, you know, after winning the 4 championships and then losing one last year, that lets me know, like, you know, now I see why professionals who win rings and then lose it in a championship game, that's just as worse as just, like, not being in it or being in it one time and losing. Like, you know, I kind of took it for granted, but I'm always humble to the experience.
If it makes you feel any better, I know what you mean. You guys spoiled me big time when I first came around.
Mhm.
We were
Yeah.
undefeated my first season with the team. And then
2014,
the
yeah.
first game we had ever lost was against the Racine Raiders, and I was just devastated. Like I didn't know what that felt like. I didn't know what losses were like, and I'm not a fan of them at all.
Yeah.
So when they happen, I get out of my way. I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, man. I definitely see everybody's vibe, and you know, I want losses just to help people, rather than, you know, because every game is just based on discipline. You know, it's like playing a chess game. Who's going to be the first to make the wrong move or make a move too fast without really thinking about what you just did? If people thought of the consequence of a lot of the things they do, they wouldn't do it.
Sure.
So yeah, every game is like a discipline game. It's a chess match game. Who's going to be the first to break or fold or show any sign of pressure that they can't handle?
Well, after this weekend, we have something coming up that's going to be real special for the Chicago Chaos. We're doing a fundraiser at Riddle's Comedy Club on August 4th on the Friday, and it's $25. All you could drink well and beer. Well liquor and beer, of course, for that night. And we have some great comedians on there. It's for a good cause. All the money that gets raised for that night goes towards transportation, field costs, referees, and equipment for our players. As we mentioned before, you know, the Cats are a registered nonprofit, so we're always looking for support.
Yep.
And, you know, with that support from our third-party sponsors, we're able to help young men like CJ actually have a place there where they feel happy to be and that they want to play football, and helps them grow as a person, not just a football player.
Yeah, I mean, being with this team, it makes it mandatory to hang with players after the game. You know, let's not all be just robots with just people with jerseys with numbers on the back. Let's actually, you know, become a family. Wins or losses, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
family with you today.
Yeah, in the championship game we lost, but the bond we gained after the game, I think, helped, you know, drive us into this season. You know what I mean? We lost, so we all want to drive back home, go home, not even wash up, just lay down there and just think the same way, you know, LeBron felt losing the championship against the Mavericks. But the best is to get everybody perspective where their mind was at before the game, you know, what they see for it now. You know, you always think about the future, which was something I had to learn. You know, just think ahead. Just think ahead all the time.
One of the things you can tell with teams is how do they respond after loss. Are people pointing fingers, or but you guys don't do that. You guys really seem to group together.
It can sometimes be that, you know what I mean, because people lose sight of, you know, the goal and, you know, the fact that it didn't work. We have to know everything's not going to fall perfectly in games. You know, the tackle that you practice to make every single time, it might not be there for you, but, you know, bouncing back is always a big thing.
And part of that culture change this year has been we have a new head coach.
Yeah, Kyle, yeah.
Coach Kyle's our new head coach. It's exciting to have him on board, and you know he's has an interesting problem this year, is that he has lots of good running backs.
Yeah.
You just happen to be one of many, and he finds ways of getting all of you the ball, it seems like, and it's pretty remarkable. At 1 minute they're getting beat up by you, and the next minute they're putting Hodges out there.
Yeah.
They can't even see him, let alone catch him.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty remarkable. That thunder and lightning situation seems to be working very well for the Chaos. We're one of the leaders, if not the leader, in rushing yards this year in MSFL.
Yeah, and that's all we have to do. Everybody just has to, you know, Like, the thing is, I know what I do for the team and I know what I don't do. You know, I think it was a call on 3rd or 11 and I got a first down. I was like, yeah, I love it. You know, I'm right here between the hashes. I know with Devion, you know, you can pick your poison with him. You want to throw it to him and then let him turn around and be an athlete, or you give it to him and let him pick a hole and he go from there. So, yeah, our team has always took pride in that. You know what I mean? As far as the patience level with us is very high. You know, I let coach, you know, like the team or the game might let the coach know, like, yeah, I think it's the best time to just let the running backs do what they do. So that
And
was.
this is the first year I've been with the team where we've been a predominantly running team. Normally in the past years we've been.
It's been passing, yeah, and I
passing
can't knock the talent, you know, that the receiving corps has. I love watching them block when I go out running. I want to, you know, get out to them and then go outside and go from there. But,
Sure.
you know, as fast as my speed to take me.
And I think this is the first year I could say where the run is setting up the pass. Where in the past it was the pass setting up the run.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit different this year. It's fun to see. It's great to have everybody mature as a team and watch this team gel and to be where we're at at this point in the season. I mean, this is technically the last game of the season, the regular season for you guys before going into the playoffs. It's going to matter whether you're going to be second or third in the conference and going in. And we know, you know, there's certain teams that we have to look out for, but I think you guys have an opportunity to do something special this year.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, losing to the Ducks kind of put everything in perspective. You know, the best players, everyone feels like, you know, the best players will play, but it's everything is in rotation.
Yep.
You know, everything's in rotation. The game will show you what's going on, who's needed, at what time.
Well, you guys made a late comeback there with the Ducks. It just wasn't enough time on the clock.
Yeah,
It wasn't
then
enough
you know,
time.
it was a lot of unexpected rain, but after that loss, I was like, you know, maybe we need it. Maybe we just needed that. You know
Well,
what I
I'm
mean?
glad you guys got it out of the way.
Yeah, because there were new players added, you know, at the time.
They didn't have the same pain from last year from losing to them in the championship
A lot of
game.
people, yeah, but you
A lot
had
of
new
new
players
guys.
who felt it, and
Yeah.
I know they feel it now. That was a disciplined game as well as, you know, just arrows on our end.
It's only a matter of time we will end up seeing those Ducks again, and, you know, it'll be hunting season.
Yeah, I spent the whole offseason doing that one.
All right. Well, anything else that we
Yeah.
wanted to talk about, like as far as your music career or anything?
Yeah, where can we
Music,
find your
yeah, I can be
music?
found on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Google Play, Amazon, I think even Pandora, at CJ Young. You know, I really do have a very interesting story to tell. Every time, you know, it's always new motivation for me, whether it's my own circumstances coming up or what I see for others in the future, or, you know, I just take pride in storytelling, you know, with my music. And as long as you can picture, you know, what I rap, then, you know, that's my goal. That's the goal I just got accomplished.
Believe it or not, I've listened to hip hop all my life, and to hear what your style, the style that you have, kind of like takes me back to some of the older styles that I used to listen to. You are a storyteller,
Yeah.
which is a rare deal these days. Normally, there's a certain outline for hip hop that's not necessarily
Yeah,
storytelling
it's a certain
anymore.
vocabulary that's
Color by
missing.
numbers.
You know what I mean? It's a, you know, and people let me know, you know, you're telling a good story. Certain crowds may not want to hear. Certain crowds want to just, you know, step out of reality for a second with the music.
Sure.
And I have no problem with that. You know, I make all kinds of music. You know, you can't please the world, but in my mind, I always think, what if you can?
Yeah, sure.
You know, as far as music goes. You know what I mean?
Music changes the world, and you can
It
affect
is,
it in a
yeah.
positive way. So I've already listened to a lot of your music. I love it. You turned me into a fan, and we appreciate you being on the show today. Thank you very much, and congratulations again on being the Player of the Week. And go out there and do the same. Try to see. Am I correct? Is it possible that if you were to do it again this week, that you would be the first player to do so for the Cast? Has anybody
believe
ever
so,
done it
yeah.
twice?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a goal to strive for a little bit this week.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. No pressure at all. It almost happened last year.
No pressure.
Almost happened, but yeah, I told Rick, yeah, he's better be prepared to pass it back to me. I want to get a nice pitch after the game and just send it back to you guys and try to get back up here as soon as I can too.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time, CJ. Thank you very much for being on the show.
No problem.
You're a talented athlete and a musician. Thank you very much.
I really
you, man.
appreciate you coming on, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Hope we have you again soon. It's
Yeah,
next time you win this belt.
very. So I'm always active. So yeah, instead of be music and football, you know, back and forth.
Well, hopefully we'll be bringing the show on location to the celebration for our MSFL championship. That's my plan.
That's the plan. Yeah, yeah, that's definitely the goal. Yeah.
All right, find CJ Young on Spotify, Pandora, everywhere, and also at CJ Young. Thank you very much to CJ and Matt Pike for coming in today, but that's going to wrap it up for us. Any final thoughts?
I can't wait. This is a great weekend for football. Again, the CFL's got a lot of games coming on. The AFL's got a couple of games, and the NFL's right around the corner, guys. So we got football all year round as usual, and of course the MSFL is giving us plenty of local talent to work with and look and watch for.
Yeah, speaking of local talent, I got 2 locks, the Chaos and the Chicago Bliss. 2 locks of the week.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much, guys, for watching I Want Football 365. We'll catch you next week covering pro football around the world.
Go Chaos.